Going to be discussing Pinocchio 2022. So that is the remake, a live action remake that Disney's doing. A trend of the live action remakes that Disney's been doing, like with Dumbo, Jungle Book, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, of their classic animated movies. They've been doing live action remakes of them. The only one I've liked is
it's never gonna stop, and it never fucking will.
Yeah, and the reason why
until they get to the remake of the remake,
remake,
and on, until Mickey lights a cinder that burns down the world.
I mean, because one of the reasons it never is going to stop is because people keep seeing these movies. I mean, Lion King made $1 billion. Aladdin, didn't that make $1 billion as well? Aladdin, when they did that one,
I think just shy of $1 billion.
Just shy of $1 billion. Beauty and the Beast made $1 billion. Like, I don't even understand. I don't get why these movies make as much money as they really do, especially something like Lion King, where it's the same movie. People, it's shot by shot. It's the same movie.
The same movie, except the animals can't emote.
Yeah, it's you have animals who are singing "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" in the daytime. What the fuck? Like, come on, people, it's the same thing.
And a random Beyonce number that they threw in just to pad out the runtime.
Yeah, listen, the only one of these live action remakes I've liked is Jungle Book. I think that's the only one I've liked of these. I've seen.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because they do something different with Jungle Book. They fundamentally change the structure of that film in making it much more of a thriller, a suspenseful, even bordering on a horror movie. And I kind of like the Cinderella one, but that's mostly because of Lily James's performance that really worked.
Yeah, and I think Cinderella did really well too, if I remember correctly. Didn't that do also really well?
Did all right.
Yeah.
It did well enough that they kept remaking other movies.
Yeah. And then Dumbo, I think, was the one that really flopped. I think Dumbo really, really flopped hard.
It's also, by my money, the absolute worst of these.
Worst of these? Okay. Because I didn't see Dumbo, but I've seen Beauty and the Beast. I've seen the Cinderella one, I think. And then I've seen Aladdin, and then Jungle Book, and then, am I missing one? I think that was really the main ones, right?
Mulan?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mulan sucked. Mulan was ass, too. Mulan. Oh.
Fuck. Yeah, Mulan was some bullshit.
Yeah, Mulan was pretty bad. I forgot about that one. Ooh, Mulan was bad. Yeah. Then they had the nerve to charge some $30 for that. Yeah. So here you have there. If you know the story of Pinocchio, famous story. Pinocchio, the animated film in the 1940s, classic animated movie. Considered one of the best animated movies from Disney, if not of all time. Really.
Absolutely, and its legacy lives on to the day because you know that like opening theme that you see in front of every Disney film, it came from Pinocchio. You wish upon a star.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the original Pinocchio?
I think I saw it back when I was a little kid, but I haven't really watched it since.
Okay.
I think I had it on VHS when I was young.
Yeah. I meant to watch the original Pinocchio after I watched this one because, this hasn't been getting the best reaction if you've been seeing it. People.
Yep. Just real quick before we get into the review, I want to give a special, I don't want to say thank you, but I'll say sign of respect to Disney. Because they looked at this and said, we got to keep this shit out of theaters. Drop this shit on Disney+.
Yeah, I mean, that was some smart oversight. At least you could say they had that much of looking at it and going like, yeah, this is what Disney Plus is for.
See, Warner Brothers, you don't have to cancel an entire movie. You can just throw your own streaming platform.
And maybe generate something there at least. But I don't know. I mean, in theaters, I don't know. Like I said, people have been seeing these live action remakes, so I don't know how well it would have done. Maybe it would have been successful. I don't
Did
know.
you know this movie existed at any point in the last 3 weeks, besides like somebody mentioning it and like passing?
Probably, yeah. Somebody mentioned it in past. I remember they did announce it. I remember that because Tom Hanks was a part of it. It was like, oh, they're gonna do a Pinocchio movie, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I haven't really seen much press for the movie at all. And then I was like, oh yeah, it's dropping on Disney Plus this week. I was like, oh, okay, well I guess we have to check that out and review it. So yeah, it has been getting really torn apart all over. So, some people might think, oh, you're just maybe too connected to the original movie. You can't see it, outside of that. Me, I haven't seen the original movie, so I have no real, personal connection to it. Some people, that may, they have maybe a certain bias with that. But here you kind of have this story of woodmaker Geppetto who creates a wooden boy by the name of Pinocchio. Then he gets brought to life by a fairy, blue fairy, who's played by here Cynthia Erivo. Cynthia Erivo, who they barely even, I think she's only in just one scene of the movie. The Blue Fairy, who in the original, if I'm not mistaken, has a big part in the movie and shows up, throughout the entire film. But here it's only just mainly just one scene. You also have, famous
Yeah,
characters.
it's one scene, and they give Jiminy Cricket's one musical number to her.
Yeah, so that was a very weird. I mean, very weird change that they do, that a lot of people were marking on. Also, like things like Jiminy Cricket, like I said, give his new musical number to the Blue Fairy. You have Joe Levitt who does the voice as Jiminy Cricket.
Which, yeah, to his credit, I did not recognize his voice at all. He doesn't have any of Gordon Levitt's usual inflections at all. And the something that I will say positive, I think the voice acting from a lot of the CG characters works really well. Joseph Gordon-Levitt really stands out. I think Keegan-Michael Key as Honest John is really fun, and the kid that they have playing Pinocchio, I think he does fine for what he's given.
Yeah. You speak about like you didn't really hear Joseph Gordon-Levitt's voice in Jiminy Cricket. I didn't either. I thought that was actually a good final voice performance from him. I didn't know that was Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Now, Honest John, I knew that was Keegan Michael Key. I was like, I know that's Keegan Michael. Right off the bat, I know.
But I've watched way too many episodes of Key and Peele to not recognize his voice.
Yeah. So I knew that immediately. Tom Hanks, who's Geppetto in this. I don't know. It kind of seems like it's almost like a little bit like an SNL skit, like with just the hair, the makeup.
Tom Hanks. Just if somebody offers you a movie in the future and they say you need to do an accent, just turn it down because you clearly cannot fucking do it.
He's trying his best. You know what I mean? He's trying his best here to do the accent, but yeah, it just comes.
Is he though?
It kind of comes off as like when Elon.
Is he?
It kind of comes off. You remember when Elon Musk was on SNL and him and his Grimes were all there and they were doing Wario and Peach. You remember that?
I'm pretty sure I repressed that memory.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's basically kind of the accent like that, basically that you kind of hear.
It's like bordering on House of Gucci level accents.
Yeah. At least Jeremy Irons, he had the sense enough to know, like, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing the accent. He just was like, I'm just gonna do me.
It's like Jared Leto in House of Gucci accent.
So yeah, I mean, I did not like Tom Hanks, who you think is, I mean, who's usually very reliable in a lot of movies he's in, but here I didn't think so that much. And then also the journey that Pinocchio goes on. I mean, I think that's a big part of the story of him going on this journey and living life and learning what it means to live life, and then that leads him into becoming a real boy. That's such an essential part of the story. How
This movie gone.
and you think they handled it incredibly poorly? Well, I was just asking.
They didn't handle it poorly. They didn't handle it fucking all. I mean, the same events as the original film and the story happen, but Pinocchio doesn't fucking grow. He doesn't learn shit. He doesn't really change. He's the exact same character that he is at the beginning of the film that he is at the end.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that's kind of the main issue, and they take all kind of the.
Yep. all of it. He like gets enslaved and forced to put on a puppet show. He meets Luke Evans and goes to Jeffrey Epstein's island. I mean, Pleasure Island with the boys.
Yeah. Who he meets the pirate here, who's played by Luke Evans' character, who, you know, I guess he's got a thing with the live action remakes because he was also in Beauty and the Beast as Gaston. He was in that. Who he actually made a decent Gaston, I guess.
He was great. He was like one of the good things about the Beauty and the Beast remake, and he has one of the more entertaining numbers here.
Yeah.
He's having a little way too much fun playing a diddler.
Yeah. I guess he's kind of living out. I don't know. He's having a little fun trying to be the bad guy. Yeah, I think it was some of it. I think he was trying to be like Jack Sparrow, basically. I think some of it was trying to capture a lot of that, like Jack Sparrow-ish type of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it seems like it takes a lot of the grit and, you know, kind of dark nature of maybe the original film out, knowing what I know about it and people talk to me about it, of like the scene where he goes, you know what I mean, to meet the you know, the kids who turn into donkeys. Here they drink root beer and not real alcohol. Like that change is made.
Yeah, the original movie, those kids were down to party. They get beer and cigars, and here they out and out say, "Yeah, give me that root beer."
And it's like that's such a why make that change? Like that was the whole point of the scene, is to show that these were kids doing bad things. You know what I mean? You know, doing bad, and that's the reason why they were punished and turned into donkeys. You know, for doing that. And here it's just like I said.
Here it's just because fucking like Jeffrey Epstein over here got them hopped up on sugar.
Yeah, I mean it's you know, he's taking them to Finding Neverland or whatever, and
taking them to Pleasure Island.
So I mean, yeah, it just like that scene is kind of, yeah, I mean, it kind of devalues what the original one did. You know, having that kind of be there of just them, you know, I'm saying, you know, I know smoking, that's a big thing now. You can't really do that in movies too much. You know, I don't know what the 2022 equivalent, like what do people do, like, I don't know, you know, get some Molly, can have them take some Molly or something. I don't know, you know, something like that. But yeah, I mean, that just seems like such an unnecessary change and takes away a lot of the grit the original one had. And just the look of the movie too. A lot of the CGI was also very not good, I think.
Is the CGI in this, as far as the characters go, it is unsettling. I was getting PCS. I'm getting what I've officially dubbed as PCSD flashback, or post cat stress disorder.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because you have a cat in there who Geppetto has that looks terrible.
It's like
yeah.
it's like it's animated as a real cat, but they overimposed like human emotions onto the thing. And it's slightly less disturbing than the Polar Express, which was also Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah. That just did not look. I think a lot of that stuff just didn't look good. Like even like some scenes like with the birds, or like they have like a sea creature in this that just kind of comes up. I don't think that looks all that good.
Yeah, Monstro at the end of the movie, because of course Pinocchio gets swallowed by a whale for a minute. And it looks weird. It looks off.
How do you think Pinocchio looks himself?
Horrifying. The stuff of nightmares.
It just looks kind of uncanny valley to you.
It is like, I'm pretty sure Robert Zemeckis just parked his car in the middle of the uncanny valley and just lost his keys in a sewer or something, because he has not left that motherfucker since like 2008.
Yeah.
The fuck Polar Express came out, I can't remember.
Yes, I thought a lot of the special effects in it did not look that good. Like I said, it probably would have even looked even worse if it was on the big screen. It was already on the small screen watching it. I was just like, yeah, it's, you know, just on my home TV. I was like, yeah, these even don't look all that good. Were there any kind of kind of elements? Like you said, you mentioned you liked Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who was Jiminy Cricket here. You liked his voice work. What about some of the human characters here? Did you like any of them?
I kind of liked the girl who played the assistant of I can't remember the character name. It was Stromboli, who runs that puppet show. I
Mm,
think the assistant does a good job for what she's given. That being said, she's given fuck all. She's given like one of the original numbers just meant to pad out the runtime, and she kind of has this cute dynamic with Pinocchio
mm,
because she talks to him through another puppet.
yeah. Yeah, I kind of thought that was a nice kind of element, talking through the puppet, and her kind of manipulating that, and kind of her, 'cause she was someone who was also disabled as well, I think, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, she was also disabled as well. So I thought it was nice that she kind of lived out her, aspirations through this puppet, being a ballerina, something, and then, doing that, and also having a connection with Pinocchio. I thought that was kind of cute. And that's an addition that the remake added, that the original film didn't have. So I thought that was pretty good. I mean, there can be good remakes. I mean, we've seen good remakes, even just last year, West Side Story. I love that movie. That was
Yeah,
one of my favorite movies of the year last year. Of course, people always bring up Dawn of the Dead, the Zack Snyder movie. I think that's an amazing
mhm.
remake.
Yeah.
Um,
Psycho, one of the greatest, one of the original slasher movies, is a remake. The Thing,
mm,
Carpenter's version,
yeah,
fantastic film, a remake. Even Cronenberg's The Fly, that's a remake of a film from back in the 40s, and it's amazing.
yeah. So
It's
they,
not like you can't make good remakes. It's that these fucking companies choose not to.
it just feels half-assed. I mean, it just feels like like what they did with Lion King, what they did with Beauty and the Beast, what they did with Mulan. It just takes a lot of what made those animated movies amazing, and then kind of strips it a lot of that. And like speaking about, like we talked about Mulan and how bad that was, one of the major issues with Mulan was that the main original story, the animated movie, was that how she was able to do accomplish this through her, sheer determination and skill and ability to work hard. But in the remake, it was just like she has the force. So it's like it takes away like what kind of made that movie great. And this movie,
Yeah, the remake. It's she has the force and is played by a way worse actress.
yeah, way worse actress, and who's got she's got special abilities. So it's like when you see her kind of accomplish these things, it's like it's not that satisfying because it's like, well, of course she does. She's got a special
Yeah,
power.
yeah, of course she could do this. She has superpowers.
Yeah. So it's kind of in Pinocchio. It's like watching him kind of go through this journey. He doesn't really learn anything. It's not like he goes through a character arc much,
Mhm,
And you see him kind of encounter these bad things, to mean these things. But
mhm.
like I said, the whole purpose of the scene with the kids, and turning the donkeys, that was supposed to meant that shows the bad thing and what you can happen if you be a bad kid, and that is completely stripped away here. So it's kind of that takes a lot of the kind of core of the story out of this movie. And I mean, as far as like this being one of the worst Disney remakes, I don't know. Again, I didn't see Dumbo. I know Dumbo's pretty bad. I didn't see that one. I haven't seen that one. For you, would this be the worst Disney remake for you?
I don't know. I'm. You know what? Because of the way this movie ends, the very last thing about this film, it is right there with Dumbo as being the worst one of these. And this is 100% for sure ending up in my worst of the year. This is just everything that is wrong with this era of soulless cash grab remakes that are just made to have like a whole bunch of Easter eggs, which when that scene happens, my eyes were rolling so fast it could generate electricity.
Damn. Yeah. I mean, I just feel like it's kind of just. I was just kind of watching it stone faced. I was just like, nothing here is
It's like
really.
that. It's that meme of Homelander in the movie theater. Just
Oh yeah, just kind of just looking. I mean, it's just like, yeah, it's this is a movie, I guess. I mean, it's happening, it's moving.
even like the unintentionally funny bits where it's like Pinocchio standing over a literal pile of shit. I couldn't even laugh at that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of
Like,
representative of the whole movie.
damn, you stuff. Damn, Zemeckis, you're self-reporting.
Yeah. I mean, it just kind of just feels like, I mean, there's no real, kind of creativity or, nothing, imaginative happening here. Just like, hey, they got handed a project and it was like, hey, what animated movie haven't we done a remake of yet? Spin the wheel. We haven't done,
Oh, Pinocchio!
yeah, we haven't done
Get your
Pinocchio
ass
yet.
back out of that corner!
So why not? Let's do Pinocchio. Next up will probably be Fantasia. Maybe they'll do Fantasia next up. So,
Fuck off.
you know, yeah. So that'll probably be like a live action Fantasia, where you have like an animated CGI Mickey. So yeah, there's like, oh, this is a live action Fantasia. But yeah, I mean, it's just. I don't really think even it's kind of worth watching just on streaming on Disney Plus. You might as well just watch you're on Disney Plus already. Just watch the 1940 Pinocchio.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
original Pinocchio is right there, also on Disney Plus. And get this, it's way shorter.
Yeah. Cause is it way shorter? Well, it's I think like 10 minutes shorter. Cause like the original is 1 hour and 30, and this is an hour and 40 something. I think the 2022 one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Cause I think Pinocchio 2022 is an hour and 45, and the original Pinocchio is a straight hour and
no,
30.
the original Pinocchio, the 1940 version, is an hour and 28 minutes.
28 minutes. Okay. And then yeah, this.
So just watch the original movie because you save yourself 20 minutes and you know what? Fuck it. I'm spoiling this shit. Pinocchio doesn't even turn into a real fucking boy at the end of this movie.
He hasn't learned his lesson yet, man. He hasn't learned it yet.
Oh, fuck off with that.
They try to do a sequel, Real Boy, Pinocchio 2. Yeah.
I will find that fucking CGI puppet and I will rip him apart and burn the remains to prevent this fucking demon spawn from walking the earth if they announce that. If anything, this just made me look so much more forward to Guillermo del Toro's version of Pinocchio.
When is that coming out?
That is this year in December.
Oh, maybe that'll make up for it. So hey, Pinocchio people, hey, maybe that'll make for it. Guillermo del Toro hasn't made a bad movie, I don't think. I think he's got a pretty great record, yeah. So he hasn't made a bad movie to me. So hey, maybe that'll make up for it. Is that movie animated or is it live action?
It is stop motion animated.
Oh, okay, that'd be pretty nice. Stop motion, okay. Yeah. So yeah, and that's coming on Netflix, the Pinocchio movie.
Yep. It's limited release in theaters and on Netflix in December 9th.
Okay.
Yeah,
So hey,
do the world a favor. Watch that one instead.
yeah, maybe that'll be really good. Guillermo Toro has a great track record, and he's a fantastic filmmaker. So yeah,
Yeah,
what?
the only arguably bad movie he's made is Crimson Peak, and even that's still kind of entertaining in its own.
Yeah, that's just meh. Crimson Peak. But Pinocchio 2022, I would give it a. Let's see, just for the lack of creativity, just for the lack of just imagination in this movie, I'd give it a waste of fucking film. Especially since they take whole lines of dialogue from the original, just like with Lion King, just stripping whole lines of dialogue from that film to the original film. I've seen comparisons of it, of what they've done. Yeah, I would just kind of give it a waste of fucking film, really. Well, actually, you know what? Just for the girl that was the ballerina, I give it a burn it for her. The girl that was the ballerina, I give it a burn it. How about that?
Yeah, that girl was really good. Dynamic with her, but that's like 5 minute, 40-minute movie. And also, you tried to make a fucking Chris Pine joke in a lot of modern references, which is one of my pet peeves of these live action remakes of animated films. So, just on general principle, and because my eyes were rolling so fast, I could like generate the electricity that this laptop I'm recording on is running. This is a waste of fucking film.
Waste of fucking film. All right. Burn it and waste of fucking film for Pinocchio.